Area 7, we show your telemetry nominal. Confirm you're on scheduled rest cycle.
I'm not on rest. I need you to open a secondary channel and pull whoever's in the building with clearance above a GS-15.
Copy that. Can you state the nature of...
I already wrote it down. I've had 6 hours to write it down. Just get them on the line.
Dr. Vasquez, this channel is active and monitored per standard...
I know it's monitored. Marcus, is it being recorded? Confirm that specifically.
All transmissions are recorded per...
Say yes or no.
Yes.
Good. Then I'm going to speak slowly, and I want you to listen without interrupting me, and I want everything I say to be on that recording. There is life on another planet. I have visual confirmation, spectral confirmation, and 41 minutes of documented behavioral observation logged to the Aria 7 secondary drive. The samples are containerized. I am ready to begin return prep on your go.
Area 7, we need you to hold position, and there's a protocol being located for...
There's no protocol for this, Marcus.
There are procedures for anomalous findings that require verification prior to any transmission of...
I've transmitted already. I sent the spectral data 6 hours ago on the tertiary band, time-stamped, before I called you.
That transmission hasn't been... We didn't receive a tertiary...
You received it. Someone received it.
Dr. Vasquez, I need you to remain calm and...
I am calm. I've been calm for 6 hours. I'm going to be calm when I describe what I found, and I'm going to be calm when you try to tell me I didn't find it. And I'm going to be calm when your supervisor gets on this line and tells me that the protocol you're looking for is the one where I agree I made a mistake. I want all of that calmness to be on the recording, too.
Nobody is... That isn't what's happening here.
Describe what's happening.
We're attempting to locate the appropriate... There are individuals being contacted.
Above GS-15.
I can't confirm the staffing hierarchy isn't something I...
Marcus, you used the phrase anomalous findings before I used the word findings. I hadn't described what I found yet.
That's standard phrasing for unverified...
It was in my sentence. The one you interrupted. The one you already knew the shape of.
Aria 7. The transmission window for this band closes in approximately 40 minutes. We're going to need you to...
I know when the window closes. I've been watching it since I called you. 40 minutes is enough time.
Enough time for what?
For this to be on a lot of recordings.
Dr. Vasquez, I have to ask you to consider that what you believe you observed may be subject to conditions up there that could affect...
Perception? Cognition? Isolation psychosis?
I didn't say that.
It's the 3rd page of the protocol you can't find. The one that says, first, ask her if she's sure. Second, ask her if she's well. Third, suggests that conditions of extended solo mission can produce, I believe the language is compelling sensory artifacts, which is a careful phrase. Someone wrote that carefully.
Those are standard...
They were written for this, specifically.
Area 7, I need you to listen to me. What you're suggesting, the implications...
I'm not suggesting anything. I'm reporting. There's a difference. Suggest means I need you to believe me. I don't. The recording needs to exist. That's all I need.
And the samples?
Yes.
You said the samples are containerized.
I did.
Dr. Vasquez, I need you to be very precise with me right now. Are the samples aboard the vessel?
When I return, they will be examined by a team that I have already named in the document I prepared. The document is addressed to 4 people. None of them work for you.
You can't... There is no mechanism by which you can unilaterally determine the chain of custody for...
I can. I just did. The document is time-stamped and encrypted, and it's sitting in 3 places that aren't on the Area 7 drive. I sent it before I called you. I told you I've had 6 hours.
Who did you send it to?
That's the first real question you've asked me.
Who did you send?
2 journalists. One epidemiologist at a university you'd recognize, and a lawyer who specifically handles government suppression of
Stop. Stop talking.
the recording, Marcus.
I need you to... Aria 7. I am placing this transmission in a hold status while I escalate through the appropriate...
You can hold it. The window's still open. I'll wake.
There's no hold. I didn't place a hold. Disregard that. Aria 7, Alina, I need you to tell me exactly what you saw. Not the report, not the document, what you actually saw. In your own words, right now.
That's the second real question.
Please.
It was in the subsurface thermal readings first. A pattern that wasn't geological. I almost logged it as instrument error. Then, the visual. A structure. Not large, not what you're imagining. Approximately 4 meters at its widest. Bilateral symmetry. It reacted to the suit light. Not toward it. Away. A response to stimulus, Marcus. A preference. That's the word I keep using in the document. Preference. Because it chose. Elena? The spectral signature is carbon-based. The movement. I have 41 minutes of it. It doesn't repeat. Every movement is different. That's not a reflex. I don't have the word for it yet. The document says deliberate. I've written deliberate 14 times. I counted.
Why didn't you call immediately? 6 hours, Elena. Why?
Because I needed to be certain before you could tell me I wasn't.
Elena.
Nobody is trying to tell you.
Marcus, you've been on this call for 22 minutes, and you haven't once asked me what it looked like. You haven't asked if I was frightened. You haven't asked if I'm okay. Those are the first 3 things you'd ask if this were the first time you were hearing this. When did you find out?
That's not...
The tertiary band transmission. You said you didn't receive it, but you knew the shape of my sentence before I finished it. When did someone tell you this call was coming?
Helena, I can't... There are people on this line above my...
Say it anyway. The recording.
4 hours ago.
So you've known for 4 hours.
I was told to... The language was... I was told to manage the transmission.
What does that mean?
I think you know what it means.
I want it on the recording.
Elena, I have a daughter. I need you to understand that. I followed the briefing. I read it. I know what the plan is for when you land. I know what happens to the samples. I know what happens to... I followed the briefing because I didn't think you'd actually...
You didn't think I'd call. Anyway.
Nobody thought you'd...
Nobody thought I'd built it in 6 hours. Nobody thought I'd already sent it. Nobody thought I'd use the tertiary band to timestamp the transmission before I ever picked up the primary channel. Nobody wrote a protocol for someone who already knew about the protocol.
How long did you know they...
Since before I launched.
Elena, the window. You need to understand. When this channel closes, they will... Whatever you've sent, wherever you've sent it, they have people who...
I know. 12 minutes.
This doesn't... Even with the recording, even with the journalists, they will find a way to... You know what they're capable of.
Marcus, look at what I just made you say. On the recording.
God.
There it is.
What do you want me to do? Tell me what to do right now.
Nothing. You've already done it. You told me 4 hours ago. You told me about the briefing. You told me what happens to the samples. You told me you followed instructions from people above you on a call you believed was monitored. Marcus, that's the document I needed and couldn't write myself. You just wrote it.
I wasn't. Aria 7. This transmission is being flagged for review under protocol.
Don't go back to that. Stay here. You were here a second ago.
I have a daughter, Elena.
I know. I'm sorry. I am genuinely sorry.
Is any of it... is it real? What you found, is it actually...
Yes. It chose. It moved away from the light because it didn't want to be seen. I understand that feeling completely.
What happens now?
Now the window closes. And everyone who has the recording decides what to do with it. I've already decided what I'm going to do.
Which is?
Come home with the samples and testify.
They'll say you're...
I know what they'll say. I wrote the version of this where I lose. I wrote the version where they're faster than I am. I wrote it all down. 6 hours is enough time to write a lot of things.
Why are you telling me this?
Because you're the one who has to brief them when this call ends. And I want you to be able to tell them exactly what I said. Every word. I want you to be able to say, she knew. She planned this before she left the ground. She built every contingency. She was never asking for permission. And then I want you to tell them the part that actually matters.
What part?
That I'm not the first one who found it. I'm just the first one they couldn't keep quiet.